Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing really well. So for your English lesson this morning, we're going to create a diary entry for a character. So we've written loads of diary entries in the past, and we're going to take on the role of that character, and we are going to write our diary. So the character I have chosen for today's diary is Farmer Rafferty, because Farmer Rafferty has the biggest job around the farm. So here are some examples of the work that he might do whilst he's around the farm. So he might milk the cows, he might be feeding the animals, he finds the mice, which is why Mossop's in lots of trouble, he drives the tractor, he harvests the crop, he fixes the fences, cleans the pigs, and he chases the sheep with a little bit of help from Jigger. So these are just some ideas of jobs that he would do around his farm to make sure all his animals are safe, to make sure his farm is working, and to make sure his animals are happy. Obviously, he isn't very happy because he's found those mice, which Mossop should be finding for him. So we're going to create a diary entry for Farmer Rafferty, and we're going to write it as though we are him. So just before we move on to looking at our diary entry, we're going to have a think of all of the feelings that Farmer Rafferty might have during a normal working day on the farm. Because I can imagine that sometimes he's really, really happy on the farm, other times he might have different feelings. So here's some ideas of the feelings he might have. So we know that he's a little bit mad because he's found those mice. He might be shattered or exhausted or tired. They are all words that are very similar to each other to say how tired he is after a day on the farm. He might be cross, angry, mad, upset with Mossop because Mossop has definitely not been doing his job. All the other animals on the farm have been working so hard to keep the farm running, whereas Mossop has just been really lazy and really tired and sat on the tractor seat. He might be feeling a little bit anxious because I wonder does Farmer Rafferty get mad and cross and angry with Mossop because he's actually a little bit frightened of those mice, which would mean that he is a little bit anxious. So just have a think about that, because that's one thing that he could be feeling, and that's why he's a little bit cross. He might be happy. He might be singing his merry tune and going on his merry way down on his tractor, and he might be really happy, and that's fine as well. But he could go through all these emotions at some point during his working day. So we're going to have a look at a diary entry for Farmer Rafferty. Whilst I'm reading, see if you can spot any language features that we use when we are doing our writing. See if I have made any mistakes to try and trick you, and we'll go from there and we'll have a look at the end. So, dear diary, today has been an exhausting day. First, I began the day cleaning out the pigs and checking in their pen. Then I drove the tractor down to the pond at the bottom of the grass hill to check on Upside and Down. When I got there, they were still upside down. Later in the morning, after I had drunk a hot cup of tea, I went to see Captain. I gave him a brush and covered him with a blanket in case it gets cold. So here is the start of Farmer Rafferty's diary. This is definitely not the end of his diary, and it's definitely not his full day on the farm, because I want you to have a go at writing his full diary for the full day. So let's have a look at some of the writing features that we have included in our diary entry here. So first of all, and one thing that you can pick up when you do your diary is we started with Dear Diary. And then if you remember when we write diaries, we move to the next line. So see if you can remember that when you're writing your diary. Okay, we have written it in the past tense. Has been means that it's already happened. Okay, so make sure you are using past tense language to show that everything in your diary from today has already happened. Okay, the next thing that I spot as I go along in my writing is I've used an exclamation sentence. Okay, today has been an exhausting day, and then I've used an exclamation mark. So challenge yourself and see if you can use an exclamation sentence and pop an exclamation mark at the end of that sentence. Now, who spotted the next writing feature? It doesn't take much, you don't need to read very far, because our next writing feature is here. Who can tell somebody at home what type of writing feature that is? If you've told them that it is a sentence opener or a time word, absolutely awesome, well done, it is. So first, Farmer Rafferty began the day cleaning out the pigs, but we haven't written Farmer Rafferty because our next writing feature is we've used the word I, and that's because you are taking on the role of Farmer Rafferty. So you are writing the diary as though you are him. So everything you need to use is I, we, my. So make sure you're using words that say that you are the person that's down on the farm. So first I began the day cleaning out the pigs and checking in their pen. So began shows that it's already happened. And then we've got a bit of description and a bit of detail as to what he did. Cleaning out the pigs and checking in their pen. Then we've got another time word. Then I drove the tractor down to the pond at the bottom. So if we look at the word drove is actually a precise verb. So drove is a doing word, and that's what he is doing, but it's very precise. We've not said then I went down to the pond. We've said I drove the tractor down to the pond. We're adding a little bit more detail in there. So you can magpie some of these ideas if you want to for your diary entry. So then I drove the tractor down to the pond at the bottom of the grass hill. So I've used an adjective there. Now my adjective there isn't actually very good. All I've put is grass. Okay, so see if you could add better adjectives, more precise adjectives, more better describing words, sorry, so that you can tell us a little bit more in your diary. Okay, upside and down are obviously the ducks that live on the pond. When year 2, focus on this sentence here, this when sentence for our subordination. Okay, so when I got there, they were still upside down. So we can use when to start a sentence, or we can use when in the middle of a sentence. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so have a think about using when for at least one or maybe 2 of your sentences. Okay, then if we look further along our diary, we've got later in the morning, which is another time word, and after. So later in the morning, after I had drank a hot cup of tea, so he's giving us a little bit more information there, because he could have said later in the morning, I went to see Captain, but instead he's added that extra bit of information. After I drank a hot cup of tea, I went to see Captain. Captain is obviously the horse on our farm, so I gave him a brush and covered him with a blanket in case it gets cold. So there's loads of writing features there for you to have a think about. So try to include as many as you can in your diary entry. Now, what I would really love it if you could do is have another read of that diary entry and then ask a grown-up to close the video so that you're writing the diary entry and it's just your work. So magpie some of my ideas, that's absolutely fine. I really don't mind sharing them. Just don't sit and copy my diary. Try and come up with your own ideas. Okay, I'm really looking forward to reading your diary entries. So work really, really hard. Have a look on the website. There's a checklist for you to make sure that you're staying on track with things you need to include for your diary entry. So use that checklist to help you. But everything I've mentioned and everything I've highlighted here on this page will help you towards creating an awesome diary entry. So have fun, be as creative as you can, think really carefully about those writing features and send me your diaries because I'm really looking forward to reading them. Have fun everyone.